My name is Justin, and I'll be doing my informative speech on NBA player contracts. The amount of money professional basketball players make is astounding. Malcolm Brogdon recently signed an $89.3 million extension with the Indiana Pacers over the next 4 years. Many people probably haven't heard of Malcolm Brogdon, and the contract that he signed is small scale compared to other popular players like Kevin Durant. In my speech, I will be explaining how NBA player contracts work and how they're able to make so much money to play a game. Learning how NBA player contracts work is interesting because the NBA has grown into a billion-dollar industry. NBA player contracts are also interesting because players make considerably less money in the past. I'm pretty well informed on this topic because I've been following the NBA closely for the last 10 years. In my speech, first I will discuss how NBA player contracts work. Second, I will discuss how the player contracts have grown over the years. Lastly, I will explain the free agency period. As I stated previously, learning about the NBA player contracts is interesting because the NBA has grown into a billion-dollar industry. NBA player contracts have grown significantly over the years. For example, right now, Stephen Curry is playing for the Golden State Warriors, and his contract is worth up to $261 million over the next 5 years. According to Spotrac, Stephen Curry will have earned $254 million after this current season. NBA television contracts also play a role in this. The NBA has a current television contract with ESPN and Turner worth $24 billion. They plan on signing a contract in the future worth up to $75 billion. According to CBSSports.com, we've already seen player contracts worth $200 million, and we will see player contracts worth $300 million in the future. The salary cap is also a major factor in how players are able to sign contracts. Each team has a salary cap, and they can't exceed this amount when signing players. Over the last 10 years, the team with the highest salary cap has grown tremendously. In 2011, the team with the highest salary cap was the Los Angeles Lakers, and their salary cap was around $82 million. Currently, in 2021, the team with the highest salary cap is the Golden State Warriors, and their salary cap is around $182 million. Now that I explained how NBA contracts work, I'll explain how NBA contracts have grown over the years. NBA players are able to sign contracts for multiple years with multiple amounts of guaranteed money included in the contract. Some players sign contracts for 1 year, so they have the option to sign a new contract every year. And these players do this because the NBA gets a new TV deal every year, so the salary cap grows every year. Other players sign contracts for multiple years. This is done to feel a sense of security, and this is done when you're content playing for the team that you're on. For example, Buddy Hield signed a contract with the Sacramento Kings for 4 years worth up to $94 million. Another part of NBA contracts is guaranteed money and player or team options. As I stated previously, Buddy Hield on the Sacramento Kings signed a deal worth $94 million. Only approximately $85 million of that deal were guaranteed. He could make the rest of the money in incentives that were put into his contract, such as certain stats that he could get during the season. When a player signs a contract, the agreement sometimes includes team or player options. For example, a player can sign a deal for 4 years, and in the 4th year, the team has the option to keep the player or let him go and not pay the remaining salary. A current example of this is Anthony Davis on the Los Angeles Lakers. He had a player option in the final year of his contract worth approximately $28 million. He decided to decline his player option and sign a new contract worth $190 million. Now that I discussed guaranteed money and player/team options, I will move on to discuss how free agency works. The NBA free agency period usually begins sometime in November after the season is over during the offseason. This is the time when players who are no longer under contract get a chance to sign new deals with new teams. Depending on the previous contract the player signed, he could be considered a restricted free agent. This allows his current team to match any offer that he signs with the new team. An example of this was when Bogdan Bogdanovic was a restricted free agent on the Sacramento Kings. He ended up signing a new contract with the Atlanta Hawks during free agency worth 4 years worth up to $72 million. The Kings decided not to match this offer, which allowed him to sign a new contract. I've discussed how NBA player contracts have grown. I've also discussed how NBA contracts are structured and how the free agency period works. I've informed you on how NBA contracts have changed over the years. I've also discussed how NBA contracts are structured, and I explained how the free agency period works. Learning about how NBA contracts work seems interesting because based on the growth of the NBA, it has become a billion-dollar industry. The NBA has grown a lot over the years, and I don't see it slowing down anytime soon.